until I hit my last breath. Music's everlasting even if past death. Not overacting, music's never past tense. Colliding with the greats, welcome to this crash test.
All right, so here we are for another episode of the BringTheBars podcast. I'm your host, KC, and this is episode 22, and we got Showzen Bundy as our guest today. I've worked with this guy a couple times. He was on my BTB track for Global Domination 1. He was one of the features alongside Jamel Shane and Otis Isaacs. He killed it, obviously, like he always does. We worked together on the update show where he sent me a video, and also I mixed one of his tracks up for him called The Sauce. So we worked together a lot, and we'll be working together a lot more, including the interview today. Like I said, I'm your host, KC. I want to let you guys know as well that my album, Unmasked, my solo album, is out now on all streaming platforms. You just got to type KingCanada. You'll find it. You can also find it at Bandcamp at kchiphop.bandcamp.com, where you can get the album for $7 Canadian. And along with your purchase of the album, you get a free 6-track bonus EP called Behind the Mask just for purchasing it. And it's only exclusive to everybody who bought the album. So, yeah, that's my album. But now we're going to get ready to go on to the show. Before I bring Showzen on, I'm going to run the track I was talking to you guys about that I mixed. This is Sauce by Showzen.
You ain't seen shit yet, bitch. You ain't breathed this yet, bitch. I'm a fiend, can't you see? Pushing my fingers into my eyes until I bleed. Broken inside, struggle to breathe. A couple of seeds to plant my mind under the trees. Who got the sauce? Who got the sauce? Who got the cause that'll ring the alarm? Bringing the tabs, bringing the hash, bringing the bottles with bitch and Patron. Sipping and stone, slipping all over the place. Still keeping my shit where I go. Singing it slow, swinging it low. Feeling my shit like it's Cordelio. This a different breed mixed with Hennessy. Since the memories never seem to bring a single thing but silences through wedding rings. I'm a man before anything. Pop near the bus stop. Some ops done drop. Shit is looking like a scene from one shot. Seen a shorty bleed for morphine. Pussy press pills for morphines. Over more than morbidly obese whores that we see haunted differently. Eating at your conscience, binge eating at your dignity. Shit is history. The misery is visibly my misdemeanor. Sensibly the sickest being a sensory diminished heathen. Sensing me, you're feeling Jesus. Centuries turn into weekends. Said to be the sermon demon. Sure can see a surgeon bleeding. Only makes sense to purge the weaklings. Can't personally see me with their purses for weeks. Why pursue this street if you're too damn cheap to purchase a beat? Rest in peace to Selena, not Gomez. Cause Bieber had his children going in that hole, not golden. Closing in on opponents. I'm showing them that Showzen runs the underdogs. Got them motherfuckers that'll sucker punch another dog. Suckers talk to hustle, walk, stay in dark, astray far. Fake ass marks like I'm taking chalk. Drawing out my thoughts on a blank sidewalk. I ain't never been a gangster, but these gangsters same gangsters. So I made a brand new banger. We can hang up on the mantle and watch it go platinum. This for the gang, this for the rain, this for the brain, this for the pain, this for the rage, this for the blanks, this for the stakes, this for everything you said I'd never be. Who got the sauce? Who got the cause? That'll ring the alarms. Bringing the tabs, bringing the hash, bringing the bottles with bitch and Patron. Sipping and stone, slipping all over the place. Still keeping my shit where I go. Singing it slow, swinging it low. Feeling my shit like it's Cordelio. Who got the sauce? Who got the sauce? Who got the cause that'll ring the alarm? Bringing the tabs, bringing the hash, bringing the bottles with bitch and Patron. Sipping and stone, slipping all over the place. Still keeping my shit where I go. Singing it slow, swinging it low. Feeling my shit like it's Cordelio. Hey, hey, hey. Bounce with it, bounce with it, bounce with it. Bounce with it, bounce with it, bounce with it. Hey. I'ma let it rock. I'ma let it rock.
All right, this is Bring the Bars, episode 22, and we got ourselves Showzen as our guest today. I want you to introduce yourself to all the listeners out there, let them know about your music and where they can find you.
Let's see, where do I begin? Well, my name's Showzen. You can basically find me on all social media, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, under Showzen Bundy, like Al Bundy. Let's see. You can find my music on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, basically anywhere you could see, any major streaming websites, I should say.
Perfect. And well, let's start at the beginning, actually. Like, what got you into music and made you want to first write and record your first track? And do you remember when that was, actually?
Man, that was like, I remember back in high school, we used to always have freestyles and battles.
Yeah, that was the same on my end, too, high school and freestyles.
Yeah, that's how it always starts. I feel it's just a group of kids just start saying random shit, and next thing you know, we're like, "Fuck, man, we should start putting these things down, these ideas." And it was around 2010 when I started like really going like, you know what, I think I could do this. So I started taking my craft more serious, and it's just been up from there ever since. It's just constant growing.
Yeah, it's funny how a lot of people start in the whole freestyle realm because your story is identical to mine, man. I started the freestyle realm, and then as time went on, I was like, okay, I'm not bad at this. And I always wrote poetry and stuff on the side. And then I just said to myself, well, let's just try. Let's see what I sound like. And everybody always hates their voice the first time they hear it on recording. But
yeah,
so that's what pushed me.
God. I absolutely hated how I can't even lie. My first couple years of music, I wouldn't say actually, I would say like most of the music I would do up until like this point to where I'm really putting out music consistently has been constantly shit. Like it's just very bad. Like there's just stuff I could have learned much sooner, but as a self-taught person, it's just like a trial and error thing for me that ended up being. So it was just like a mix of both like the rapping and like how I rap, because compared to how I used to rap, like now I could embody my old self. But back then I used to have this confidence of a god. So it was this crazy dynamic that I had. And once I started realizing like, man, I'm actually like I got some skill here, humility took over a little bit. So and that's where I started realizing like the only way to really like push through music is to like work together with people. So I've lost a lot of my competitiveness. Not to say that it isn't there that yet, but like still, but I've lost some of it to where like I don't want to just battle every rapper I come across. It's more or less I'd rather just work with you and let's network and let's grow together as opposed to trying to go against each other.
Yeah, man, that's well put. The exact way I look at it too. And like you said, you still need that competitiveness in you. For me, it's more competing against myself all the time. I got to top the last verse I did. I got to top the last song I did. So it's competitive with a lot within myself compared to when I first started, where, like you said, I was competitive with everybody around me. And you don't realize how many people you need to surround yourself with to actually like lift everybody up. You can all rise up together kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I completely agree, man. It's a learning process.
It really is. Like you said, trial and error is the best way to describe it. And for me, one thing when I hear your music that always stands out to me is your flow and cadence. It's a very unique flow. You pick very unique beats, and it makes you stand out in this vast sea of artists, really. Which also made it fun to mix your track sauce, because I never mixed someone's music that had so many flow, pitch, and tone switches in it. But that was a blast to do. And how did you come up with that? No problem, man. How did you come up with this like sound you got now? Because you said at first you weren't, you rapped a lot differently. You could body your old self. How long did it take you to kind of find your lane, your sound?
You know what? I think to this day, I still am trying to find my way in my sound. It's just more or less that I have a better idea as to what direction I want to go, because it's more or less just kind of like weighing out your strengths and weaknesses. And, your strengths, those are the ones you want to really push on. And your weaknesses are the ones you want to work on. And a lot of my strength was the ability, like, just to be able to rap fast, to have that cadence. And, writing has always come natural to me, and I love words. I sucked at reading, and I failed English in school all the time. But it was just something about like like words are just nice because I figured the impact it has on people. Just as simple as like when you have a sentence and like you add one word at the end and it changes the whole meaning completely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. Well put. And it's funny how, like you said, you can just put all these words together and make either a story out of it or a statement. And it's just a great thing to do. And like you, I was never great in English class or anything like that, but it was always like the poetry and rhyming side of it that I just couldn't get out of my head. I just love wordplay and rhyming, and it's so fun for me.
Oh yeah, bro. I figure if I can, the crazier the shit I can say, and I guess in a sense it's the cleverness behind it, but it's just for me more or less it's like the shock factor behind the whole trying to get you to like be like, oh shit, like I didn't expect this, and it's kind of like getting just sucker punch from all directions.
Yeah, and that's the fun part about it all. And I like to ask a lot of certain artists too is how did you come up with the creation of your name, Showzen?
So mine, it came it was like a process. So I originally got the first set of inspiration from the show Wonder Showzen, where I wanted to create. Basically, I don't know if you're familiar with the show. It was
No,
it
not.
used to, oh, so it was an early 2000s, early late 90s thing that it came on. It's basically South Park meets Sesame Street, and
Okay.
very intense messages. This imagery is intense, but it's all like it's all masked by this like evil innocence sense, in a sense, you know what I mean? So I
Okay.
really love that concept, and it's a very wild show. If you ever get a chance, just type in Wonder Showzen on YouTube, and everything's gonna pop up. Just the first video is just already gonna blow your fucking mind, and it was a combination of that, and then the factor of me knowing that like my presence is when I perform, and what I want to bring is like a show, but I want like everyone like to have this like inner peace, like at the end, like this sense of fulfillment almost, like where it's like, okay, like if I like being able to like get touched, you know, if that makes sense, where
Yeah, it does.
I can kind of bring them this sensation or an emotion to them, and you know, in a sense, not to say that I'm the missing piece to their puzzle, but in a sense, kind of make them feel a little more complete, as in giving them a little closure in any sort of way, you know?
Yeah, that's what's crazy with hip hop and rap, especially because you know, you got a song for like every different style of mood you're feeling. If you're like partying it up, you maybe want to get a more upbeat, high tempo party kind of song. You want some poetry, you'd go like the Nas route and stuff. But also you can make songs that can trigger an emotion. Like somebody who's not feeling it, and then if you put this one song out, it can trigger something in their brain where the emotion or they feel you. It's such a fun art for sure.
Yeah, it's so crazy how diverse and how you can just manipulate the sound, and I'm just so intrigued behind music. Like even I knew that down the line I was gonna get into music, and even if I wasn't taking it as serious as I am now, I know for a fact I would still put this much heart into it.
All right, we're going to take a little interview break from Showzen. I'm having a great time, but we're going to run some music from them. This is Drop from Showzen featuring Low Will.
I'm a raw ass, so you better fall back before you get your jaw cracked. Thinking that you're all that when you're off that liquor and you pop that pill in a minute, so your thoughts all dizzy. We ain't even on that. Get off that, ready to brawl or scrap. If you in the whip with the windows tinted, expect your car smack. Oh yeah, still pretty ill, so come on with it. Call competition and tell them that talent's missing in the wrong position. Dealing with the baddest villains, sick of this dissing, but it's the only time that you faggots listen. Honest with it, and I'm just asking these kids to just please resist. Speaking or not, whether if I'm hot or not, and we obviously hot like so was rocks. Or an old bitch is with my nose in the crotch, and I say I sound like Earl, bitch. Cold and spot, still dope like pop. Rolled in top and I smoke till I drop. Most y'all wanna be phones on pop. I said drop, bitch. said drop, bitch. I said drop, bitch. I'm a raw ass, so you better fall back before you get your jaw cracked. Thinking that you're all that when you're off that liquor and you pop that pill in a minute, so your thoughts all dizzy. We ain't even on that. Get off that, ready to brawl or scrap. If you in the whip with the windows tinted, expect your car smack. Oh yeah, still pretty ill, so come on with it. Call competition and tell them that talent's missing in the wrong position. Dealing with the baddest villains, sick of this dissing, but it's the only time that you faggots listen. Honest with it, and I'm just asking these kids to just please resist. Speaking or not, whether if I'm hot or not, and we obviously hot like Sova's rocks, or an old bitch's fault with my nose in the crotch, and I say I sound like Earl, bitch. Cold in spot, still dope like pop. Rolled in top and I smoke till I drop. Most y'all wanna be clones on pop. I said drop, bitch. Drop, bitch. I said drop, bitch.
In it. And what's your writing process like when you're coming up with the track? Do you come up with the rhymes first, kind of write them down, or you go through the beat and write to the beat? How does it all start up for you when you decide, like, okay, I got a song in mind?
It's a lot of back and forth. It's either I have, it's very rare when I have like both a rhyme and a beat that just so happens to fits it. It's kind of rare, but it's a magical moment because most of the time it's either I have the verse and I make a beat around it, or I try to figure out a beat around it, and or vice versa. I have a beat and then I try to write to it, and then just trying to kind of flow back and forth. And it's just more or less just trying to see how diverse I can get and kind of push my limits every time as to both lyrically and, you know, rhyme wise, delivery. I want to make sure that my bars are on point every single time. Like how can I say and what can I say that'll match the song? Because I feel like I have an advantage toward giving different tones in my voice.
Yeah, you do.
That really makes a difference into the world, like how you feel a song, because you can hear a song of tragedy, and a lot of the times I've heard it, it's just been so oversaturated. It's oversaturated with auto-tune and just it's just very basic that it's kind of hard for me to relate. But I understand the issues. The lyrics hit me. It's just like the sound isn't there for me. So I like, it's been a game of trying to just match sound, rhythm, and everything with the song, of course.
What's your thoughts on the auto-tune sound? Are you for it? Are you against it? You kind of just there, like you don't really care?
You know what? People that use it, if they're used, like most of these like radio stars, like I don't know what Young Thug did to make himself blow up like that, but he doesn't make sense half the time. But his sound and the way he manipulates the auto-tune is what makes him sound good.
Yeah.
The same with Travis Scott. Travis Scott doesn't need auto-tune. He's got a great voice. He can sing normally, but he adds it on to add like flair. So I guess to each their own. Me personally, I haven't used it. I have yet to use it. I think I used it in one song one time for like a hook, and I really haven't like just dug into it. But I can't say that I won't jump into it into the future, because I want to fuck around with all sorts of the mechanisms behind the music engineering process. So that might come across. I don't know if it's in the near future though.
Yeah, for me, it's gotta be used right. It can't be overdone. Like if you look at like a Lil Yachty and stuff like that, I can't stand that. It's got to be used right. It's okay in hooks for me. I agree with that, but it's got to be used subtly and not through. I don't like it in verses. I'm not a big fan of it in verses, but I see why it's there and I get it. And there's a lot of hooks that I'll listen to that are auto-tuned that I love. So, like you though, I never used it. I don't think I ever will, but who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of like you don't want to close yourself off too quick of it because you might have the idea and you'll be like, "Yo, this sounds like a beast." Because I have a fellow artist that I work with, and he's actually from Wisconsin, and he uses autotune all the time. But his voice is manipulated like he knows how to sing. He knows how to hit the pitches. He knows what words to stretch. If you ever search him up. You can just look up on Twitter or SoundCloud. Only Dope Records. His name is Eme, Eme. The man, he's a great guy, great person.
I'll be checking it out.
Yeah, I got a couple songs with him. Yeah, I think he's got like the right edge on how to use it. So I've been trying to learn from him more or less when I've been looking into the autotune.
It's funny because with autotune, a lot of people get the idea that people use it because they can't sing or they don't have the voice, like a certain voice for it, so they throw autotune on it. A lot do that where it doesn't come out well, but you also have to know how to learn the autotune. You have to hit the right notes and pitches to kind of make the autotune sound nice, and that's what you're making it sound like with Eme. I'll be definitely checking them out.
Definitely, yeah. No, I completely agree with you, bro.
And we saw in the update episode, actually, your recording setup for your music that I aired in the last episode of the update. Has it always been done in-house for you? Is this a newer setup? Did you used to hit the studio? How did that always work out? Was it always just done on your own?
So it's always been on my own. It's always been with, like when I first started, it was with a MacBook too. I luckily, like the only difference between the one I have now and the one I had before is 7 years, I believe, in models. But it's the same exact process I just jumped into. The microphone is the exact same microphone I had, believe it or not, when I first started rapping. So that's been by my side. I can't tell you. That's been like a third arm to me.
Yeah, my old mic, I had that for, I would say 5 years. I just got a new one last year, but the way I look at it, especially with your sound, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like it still sounds pretty crisp, especially when you send me the vocals for Sauce. Like it was crisp.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of like more or less when it comes down to recording myself. I think I know what I sound and what I need to really pull myself through. I can even through the shittiest mics, I know what I need for my levels. It's just more or less the challenge now when I work with other people and I try to figure out theirs because everybody's got different voices and different pitches, and it's just different. Like it's like gruffness and kind of almost like stuffy in a sense. It's kind of weird to describe how voices sound to me, but I kind of picture it more or less as you just trying to filter it through and trying to strain the good parts out.
Yeah, it's crazy how everyone has a different sound because with my Global Domination album I did had 14 artists on it. I mixed up that whole album. I'm doing it again, and it's crazy because everybody has such a different. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. But everybody has such a different sound. I remember trying to go through it and hear voices, and I was just like, did I step over my head here? Because I wasn't too like right into the mixing and master. I took a course now, like I know a lot more about it than even I did with Global Domination, but it blew me away like how a setting I can have on my recordings will sound like absolute shit on maybe like your recording. Like everybody has a different way or a different reverb you got to set up or something. It's insane.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why it's kind of hard when I work with somebody. I got to make sure like if more or less they know what they're doing, and we got to be on the same page as to how we both want the sound to work, which is not a hard thing to reach. I'm pretty easy to work with. And
yeah, you were. I worked with you a couple times.
yeah, and man, I was gonna say that Global Domination, that shit is fucking beautiful, bro, because it's so crazy and it takes so much effort to try to pull 14, especially like. Man, for me, it takes a crazy amount for 5 artists. But for you to pull 14 different artists onto an album and pull them together and just be like, look, we're going to be all on this and we're going to have tracks like this and you're going to be on this and I need you for this. And Like people, I'm pretty sure I hope they were more than willing to give you their verses because that whole thing.
I didn't have any issue at all, and now with part 2, I'm hitting 21 plus artists for volume 2. So
holy shit, yeah, you're doing right, bro. You're gonna be the new fucking collab king. That's gonna be some shit right there.
I'm hoping for it. It was funny how it all started because, like, when I did albums in the past, or like singles or something, I didn't really get a lot of features unless it was somebody from my hometown or something. Like my cousin hopped on a couple, but I never outsourced it to how I'm doing now with you guys. And it started like, okay, I want to make an album. I want to get a couple features on it. I found a whole bunch of artists I liked, and I would ask them all, and then they all came back and said yes. And I was just like, okay, well, I can't have 10 features on my solo album. How about I just come up with this idea? And that's how Global Domination started. Wow. From going to no collaborations to collaborating with 14 people in the span of months.
Yeah, that takes some serious networking skills, and that's nothing to really like just gloss over. That's a really big accomplishment, honestly.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. All right, now it's time for Random Bars. This is a segment of the show where one lucky member of the Bring the Bars Facebook group gets randomly chosen to have one of their tracks aired for you guys on Freedom K Radio and also on YouTube. And the winner this week was an amazing guy, amazing artist by the name of Godsun. You guys stay tuned because Global Domination 2, I have a track with him coming out. You guys are going to love it. Great guy to talk to. Always humble, always commenting on your music, all around good guy. But he won the draw this time, so it's Godsun, and this is his track, Clear Skies.
Want to others as you want others to do for you. You messing over people, homie, you ain't with my crew. We keep it honey gang, we keep it boss, we keep it live. I'm on that top with that Glock, now we can't be stopped. The unbreakable, we out here building pyramids. Dropping knowledge through this hip-hop, we pursuing this. Cause I'm a boss with the attribute of Il Shabazz. You wanna trip, I will bust you with that solar blast. And that's my sun rays, open up your third eyes. I'm on my Morpheus, I'm sliding through your landlines. Yes, I'm a matrix, still a true Illuminati killer. Moving through the gates of hell, there is nothing realer. I'm on this earth with my angels and our golden wings. Boss like music on your brain, we doing things. And that's that code on the flow when we drop it down. If it ain't peace, you getting hit with K Brown boss.
Battle ready, sword in my hand heavy. Conveying my suppression on paper don't always help me. I'm swinging at these lingering cold thoughts. Let me sleep, eyes to the heavens with cold shots sitting in me. When would the hurt end? When I leave in this hearse. Before I die, I pray I do better than how I first did. When the verse ends, God is closing the curtains. I gotta go away, God lifted me up to serve Him. I don't spend a little time in the streets. Happy sinner in my schemes, I was fine being weak. But seeing the vision of me inside wood and concrete, as clear as the blue skies, is how the Lord called me. With his chisel, he chipped away at my misery and built in me a warrior spirit. We the elites. Blessed is he that'll seek, looking up at his feet, seeing his truth shine as clear as the sky. Speak JP.
Hold on, I'm just checking here. Oh, we're hitting the time. I'm going to do a mid-segment with you that I do in all the shows, looking at the time now. And this segment is called Rate the Bars. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to name an artist to you, and I want you to rate them out of 10 based on their catalog and a little description of why you rated them that way.
Okay.
So first one I'm actually going to start off with is Immortal Technique.
So what's the rating scale? Is it 1 to 10, right?
Yeah, 1 to 10, and it can be however way you want to rate them. You can rate them on their catalog, on their lyrics, on their flow, whatever. Just a total out of 10. Like, what would you give Immortal Technique in your mind?
Man, I give him a solid 9 for sure. I feel like he's got all the essentials needed for hip hop. He holds it down harder. He's like one of the hardest underground artists who stayed underground and has done his mainstream thing, but like kept to himself. He kept real. Like, I really respect that. And he's really helped out his neighborhoods. And I know he does a lot for communities and across seas. Like, he's a man of many talents. But when it comes down to his music, like, I feel like I can listen to a whole album of Immortal Technique, but after that, it's like, all right, I've had my fill. You know what I mean? So that's why I give him a 9.
I feel you on that. It's a very niche kind of sound music he makes, very political, very story oriented, and you won't find a lot of like party bangers or something from Immortal Technique.
Yeah, that's more of like a sit and think kind of like moments.
Yeah, you really got to play it and listen to every word he says. We're going to go a little old school with this. One of the OGs for me is Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, man, Big Daddy Kane. You know what? I do give him a 9 as well, just because of simple fact, because when I first heard him, his flow fucking blew my mind.
Yeah.
And the impact he's made on artists that we all follow today, including himself, is tremendous, and it's up there too. But Big Daddy Kane just does like it's the sound for me too. But his flow is impeccable. I'll give his flow like a 10 for sure. On top of that, because I can't lie that I've listened to Big Daddy Kane and I'm like, holy shit, this guy's impeccable, you know? Like, this is a flawless flow.
Like you said, he influenced so much. He changed the way people rhymed. He rhymed so differently than everybody did back then, and he did it well. He was the first one, I think, to bring in like doubles and triples, and then, like, he did a lot that everybody was like, okay, we're gonna learn from Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, and he brought it, man. No, I've heard a couple of his more recent shit, and he still holds it down. So he's, once they say you got it, you got it.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike, man. You hop back on and you can still kill it.
That's fucking awesome.
And now we're gonna go with more of today's age, I guess, with Drake.
You know what, Drake? I could give him like a good 7, 8-ish, because I can't lie. When I first heard Drake, I was not a fan at all. I thought it was very washed down and very like he had to be a certain style in order to kind of get a certain type of fame. But as time progressed, I did see that he was trying to show who he really is, and I guess he is passionate about the music. It's just there's too much rumors and there's so much shit circling around him. But when it comes down to songs, like, he's got a couple of songs that I'll be like, all right, I'll bump to this.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. But it's funny for him, like, being, I'm Canadian and he was too. So we were kind of like all proud of this guy from Canada kind of really busting out into the mainstream. But for me, I never even really liked him, to be honest with you. So I was kind of like, I'd prefer, I don't know if you heard of him, but like a Mercules busting out of Canada more than a Drake.
Yeah, I was gonna say how is Mercules? I'm pretty sure he's like crazy big over there, because last time I heard, it was before New Year's, and he had his like face on a billboard in Toronto somewhere.
He blew up. I'd say in the last 2-3 years, he blew up. He's like the pinnacle of underground hip hop in Canada now, is Mercules. Like, everybody here would know who he is. He's branched out. I know he got on the new Tony Hawk game and stuff like that too. So he really exploded, I'd say, in the last 3 years.
Man, my man, he's done shit right. He knows what's up.
Yeah, just doing it all underground too, with not really any radio play or anything. And yeah, he did it. He networked his way up there along with other artists. Like, you look at like Chris Webby and Tech Nine, I guess independent, but I don't really consider him too independent, but
I think he's gotten to the point where it's like he's not underground like he used to be, I should say.
No, and he also had like I forget his name, the guy who started the label with him. So he was handed a big chunk of cash to start it all up. Nothing to knock Tech Nine. He's one of my favorites and always will be. But when I hear like guys grinding independent from the bottom, I think of like a Mercules and a Chris Webby. And the next artist I actually want you to rate would have been Vinny Paz. That's another one.
Oh man, I love Vinny Paz. I'll give him a 10. I listen to Vinny Paz. I love his work. Vinny Paz, he's got that gruffness. He's got that edge. Like it's dark. It's like, man, it kind of like shudders in your head. It's a weird way to describe it, but I get a lot of influence from Vinny Paz.
Yeah, same with me. I was a massive fan. I remember hearing about him early years in high school. And that time I only really knew about mainstream rap. I didn't know about this whole underground sound. And I heard that Jedi Mind Tricks when he had Just a Law in it. And I was absolutely blown away. Like, where the hell did this come from?
I think the first track I heard was with him and R.A. Rugged. The Vietnam Story.
Yeah. R.A. the Rugged Man murdered that.
Dude, that shit changed my fucking perspective on music. Because I'm like, these niggas are telling a story from the perspective of like of a war. Like it's a whole story, and they're putting their shoes in somebody else's shoes. And that's like exactly what I love to do, where it's like, you kind of put yourself in somebody else's body and tells a story from their point of view. So it's kind of like, even if you don't relate to it, you can kind of see how the story was, even if you weren't around to be like around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And RA for me is always going to be in my top 5, top 10. RA is one of my favorite artists of all time. And with that song you were saying also, it was like true for him because it was all about his dad and the whole war and everything like that. So that whole verse still stands the time as one of the best verses from any artist, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, I can say the same thing. It's a strong ass verse. Fucking RA still kills it to this day too. He's had a couple of competitions. I wish I was like more like aware and figured out a way to like kind of really get my way around all these things so I can kind of be a part of them every time, because I feel like I've missed out on some chances to meet him, especially during a couple like, I don't know if you ever heard of Afro.
What's that, sorry?
I don't know if you ever heard of Afro.
Yeah, he's RA's guy, yeah. I know Afro.
So when he won that contest, bro, I felt so salty because I had a verse just like his almost. Like not to knock his song or anything. Afro killed that shit, but I had a song kind of like that, but I just never put it out, and I felt so salty. I'm like, God damn. So now my goal is to like at least meet RA and shake his hand. If I could do that, then I feel like
it'd be a dream of mine to work with RA and see him. After this whole COVID stuff blows over here in Canada, I can't wait till all the artists come back. Like last one I saw was Tech Nine. I got to meet him with Chris Calico. I had a blast. I had tickets to the Chris Webby, but then everything got shut down. So I can't wait. I'd love to meet a lot of these guys, especially RA. He's definitely one of my biggest influences, I would say, in hip hop. All right, quick music break here. We're going to run another track from Showzen, obviously. This is Black Sheep.
Fuck out of here. What a whirly spin the world we in. I never wanna be hurt again. The burning sin, the murdering surges in my internal whim. Like I'm gonna fucking stutter, it's my turn to win, son. Feel the turning wind, son. Tables turn again, son. Trying to turn against one shit, son. I ain't gonna get tough. I make one when you hit up my shit, but you can still hit up my shit if you ever really wanna. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Big guns, big guns, big guns, big guns, big guns, big guns, big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Big guns, 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 big guns. Fuck up. Come get some, hit you with the big guns. Fuck is you constantly wanting? I thought I had brought it. I'm dropping automatic, baby banging, sonographic, raving magic. It'll change the past over prophylactin. Say your last one till I hold your last bitch. Keep laying dirt on my broken glasses. See, hey, no, I don't know your asses. I'ma keep laying nerds on the scoliosis. Broken savage, hopeless addict, blowing crack, rolling savvy, smoking hash, throwing coke off bats, some sink, shoving tampons in the stink, soaked in acid, sold disaster with a cloak and dagger. I'm the only asshole with emotion to diss you bastards, and I'm only holding back till I get sick of the stinky ass. Yeah, want to make a bona fide, the Oprah deep throwing a hoagie sandwich, fatter than your ego. When you was cold and sad, bitch, you ain't fatter than the steel post that's on Cartoon listen. Doesn't matter what you release, the MP3's only seen 3 G's of readings. Been meaning to speak, I mean, you see me to be free, but I need 3 weeks to see. If you even a reason to breathe, you wanna speaking to me, needed a reason to free. This is illusion to me, I'm freaking for me. Even I can't seem to catch the grass. Luckily I grabbed the grass, then I pulled out fucking steak. Slap that ass in your mother's face. You're the trash that I drag every other place. You ain't no one, nothing, no other name.
Come get some and shoot the big guns. 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 Rage, fucking rage. Think you freedom, baby, well. But I can give this right to hell. Breathe the shallow, capture the moment when I tell you that it's rabbit season. Think you freedom, baby, well. My path is demons raising hell. See the shadows breathing, capture the moment when I tell you that it's rabbit season.
How's it feel to be a sellout?
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Cool, that's me.
Who were, like, besides the names I just named for our Rate the Bar segment, what other artists did I miss out that really influenced you?
You know, I've got a lot of influence from Ski Mask to Slump God, and he's a new age artist. Yeah,
I heard very little of
I
him.
just love that man's. He seems so fun, bro. I love his vibe. I feel like we could get fucked up or like just chill, or we could like sit down and talk some real shit. Like he seems like a real cool guy. Like, and the way he does his music, you can tell like he has fun. And he sends his message. He gets it across, but he doesn't like his tactics are more or less like, you look, I'm gonna just say this shit in a fun way and in a unique way, and I'm gonna make it just so catchy that it's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? Like he keeps it's simple, but it's not simple, I want to say.
Yeah, sometimes simple is better, less is better, especially if it's done right.
Yeah,
for sure. I agree with that.
You can tell it's a little less of what, like there's sound you can tell like, holy shit, they've been in the studio for hours trying to add this reverb and trying to make it echo and put it in the chamber and trying to do this and that. And like with him, it's kind of like, it sounds like he just got on the microphone and just rapped and just said, all right, let's go, cut it.
Yeah, I'd have to tune into more from him. I don't know, didn't hear much, but I know of him and I'm sure I've heard a couple, but I'd have to tune into a lot more.
Definitely. He's got the last album he's got out was Stokely. Very good album, very diverse sounds on every track. I like it's a whole album I didn't want to skip. And I was very impressed because it's been a while since I've been able to do that. And the last album I did that with was Eminem's Music to Be Burned by Side B.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Eminem?
Oh, man, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's one of the tops for sure for me too. I find it funny now how it's almost a thing. I talked about this actually a little bit on my last interview, but how it's became a thing to hate on Eminem, and even talking like I remember hearing an argument like, is Joyner Lucas corny? And in my head, I'm like, how the hell are people arguing this? Like Eminem's one of the best lyricists, and so is Joyner Lucas for a new wave artist. I don't get where this whole hate comes from. It's like the cool thing to hate him now.
Yeah, I started noticing that trend too. And at the end of the day, they can say what to say. The music that he's putting out, it's got the right message. I feel, in a sense, even if it's not the right message for you, his message, he sends it out properly. He gets it across right. He like he knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell he
Yeah.
knows what he's doing in his music, and I really appreciate that about it because I respect the artist that you hear it and it's like this guy put effort. It's not just like just stacking tracks and just putting auto tune over it or just rapping about the same old shit. It's more or less like there's some heart behind this. There's effort, and that's what I find appreciative in music now because I think that's what it's missing is people appreciating how much hard work it goes into like trying to get that sound, trying to get that rhythm, trying to fucking focus on trying to say the right word at the right millisecond because if it sounds a little bit off, it just ruins everything. Like all these
Yeah.
little things that details that nobody really thinks about when they listen to music. And I started noticing these things as I've been creating music. Really and taking the time to actually just go out and be like, this isn't just me and a microphone. This is me and an experience I can give.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people, like even you hear in Eminem songs, I feel this way too. A lot of people have like kind of a love-hate relationship, I guess, with creating music. Some parts about it you love, there's other parts you just absolutely hate. So for you, do you have that relationship? And if so, like what's your favorite part about creating a song and what's your least favorite part about the whole process?
My favorite part is getting the sound right and making sure I hit when I get the words right in my verses. That's just a touching moment. When I get the beat sounding good, when everything just kind of just flows and sounds the way I want it to. That's the beauty of it. I was like, I'm creating magic right here. This is like even if it's whatever it sounds to somebody else. This is for me. This is like another child that I'm about to have, and I'm bringing it into the world for people's ears. And man, it's so beautiful. It's like you
Yeah, it
can't
really
really
is.
like replace it with anything.
Yeah, it's you created something with just your words and just your sound and your voice. It's such a, like you said, it's an amazing feeling that it's kind of like chasing the dragon. You want to keep doing it.
Hell yeah, man! And I got an addictive personality, so I get right on that horse right away. And the only times I get frustrated is when because I'm very self taught, and even then I refuse to kind of like go through YouTube videos because some do take too long to explain. So I end up just kind of fucking with shit on my own, moving shit around, and just kind of playing with shit on my own. And I've been figuring out as time goes on just how much more deep and fluent I can make the sound come. So it's been a battle. It's not so much the music part that I hate because the music side of making music, the making music side of music, I should say. My bad. The making music side of music is all for me. It's all love because I can spend hours editing. It's the whole once if you're trying to involve other people in your art or once you try to bring outside help into it, that's when it kind of starts becoming like a little harder. You know what I'm saying? That's when you kind of start like almost walking on eggshells, depending on who you're working with.
Yeah, that can make a big difference. Like you with myself, I do everything my own. I learned my own. Well, I didn't learn by myself. I obviously talked to other people and got advice and searched up stuff and took, like I said, the mixing course and stuff. But it's all done myself because I just have a certain way of doing things. And it's kind of really hard to find somebody who can get your sound or have the exact same vision as you as how you're picturing it. So that's why I like to kind of be selfish and keep it to myself, and I'll do it all on my own.
Yeah, man. No, I love doing shit on my own, but there are moments where, like, I do work with some dope artists like Scoon. If you look up SCCC triple CN S triple CN on SoundCloud or Spotify or anything, and Big Bills. Like I've worked with these guys, and these are probably like the very few people that I can get my sound to sound right with. So it like throughout all these years, it's been a very very push and pull type of thing where I've been going to producers and going to different artists and processes and different studios and just really finding out that knowing when you have the right people, like a small little crew to kind of help you out with here and
Yeah.
there, It makes shit a lot less stressful.
Especially, yeah, a very close knit group of people that you really trust that will also won't feel bad to give you maybe constructive criticism. A lot of people, like, one thing I hate doing is surrounding myself with yes men. I hate that. If something went wrong or something's gone, tell me. I won't take it personally. I won't get pissed off at you. It's the least I learned from it. And that was a huge thing of my process starting up is there's one thing somebody just going, you're trash. That's stupid because you didn't get anything. But it's like, this sounded a little off, or you kind of like, you shouldn't have picked up tempo here or something like that to kind of, get a feel for it. But also everybody has a different opinion. One guy can love one song while another guy hates it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy because I have songs where it's mostly the sound and depending on how it's all mixed. Like some people love the mix, other people are like, this is you could do this and you can fix that. And then some people are like, I love this and I love this part. You know what I mean? And it kind of gets confusing. So it's more, I guess, at the end of the day, you do have to trust yourself. But the whole surrounding yourself with yes men is the whole thing too. Because like I can't do it either, and that's why it's good to have like people who, like with constructive criticism around you, so they can like be like, yo, you could probably add this, or you could turn this down, or you could turn this up, or whatever. Like people that it's just hard to find other creatives, that kind of will understand you.
Yeah, and that was one of my fears actually when I started this whole Bring the Bars movement and group was because, I was offering people the radio play and I was offering the people like this and that. So it's like, were they just listening to me or agreeing to me saying they like my music because I'm offering them this? So that was like a big fear of mine starting off, like how many, like, do these guys really respect me or do they just want something off me? Yeah. And then I found out through a lot of time that maybe a couple are kind of like the yes men. They just want their opportunity. But a lot of people in this group are very honest people who they can point out lyrics to my song that they're not just saying they listen to it. And it turned out a lot better. But that was a massive fear of mine when I kind of started this whole movement off.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. It's a whole fucking, you just can't, it's just hard to, it's like, who do you really base off of when you don't have anyone professional around you,
Yeah.
Like, who can you compare to without being like, I'm trying to compare myself to Dr. Dre, and it's like I don't have Dr. Dre's equipment, so you kind of got to give yourself a break there, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to give up. So it's a crazy fucking seesaw of emotions.
Yeah, it really is. It's a whole crazy journey for sure. And we're actually going to be hitting the last segment of the interview here, looking at the time. I wish I can do a 2-hour interview with you, man. I'm having a blast chatting with you. But we're hitting the last segment of the show, and this is Name Your Bars. So I don't know if you know what this is, but I'm going to read out a bar or two from one of your tracks, and you got to let me know which track these bars are from.
All right, for sure. This is fun. I have never experienced this, so
yeah, I'll name 5 out. There's been a few who've gotten 5 out of 5. A lot of people have gotten around 3 out of 5. I'd be interested with myself. I don't think I'd be able to get 5 out of 5, but all right.
What the fuck? Let's see what's up.
I'll start with the first one here, and it's Broken Savage, Hopeless Addict, Blowing Crack, Rolling Savvy.
Oh, that's from Black Sheep.
Yeah.
Broken savage, hopeless addict, blowing crack, rolling savvy, smoking hash, throwing coke off bathroom sink, shoving tap.
Right, so you're 1 for 1 on that. We're gonna go to the second one. I'm a rose from the concrete that rose from the concrete on the road across me that eroded the cross streets.
That's from Bring the Bars from you, man. That shit was fucking lit.
You're
all in Otis.
Yeah, everybody brought it on that. That song turned out to be one of my favorites off the album.
Rose from the concrete that rose from the concrete on the road across me that eroded the cross streets. These rodents with the heartbeat pop out from the dark, mouth in the heart. I'm about to start a brawl, so get off.
Hell yeah, bro. I was thoroughly impressed with that whole song when it came out. At first I was just kind of like, I was very in like, man, I wonder what's gonna come out. I've only heard your verse, but you said there was other people, so I'm like, I was so amped to hear their styles, and it was like more than what I expected, so it was great.
Yeah, I knew it right away. Like Jamel Shane and Otis, they can bring it, and Jamel Shane has bars for days. Otis has such a unique flow, and he has bars too as well. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he's just very stand out with his voice, and I just knew, like, when I put it together, like, this is going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. It was fucking dope. I blast the song every day. I have a little playlist of stuff, so it's pretty nice. It keeps in rotation for me.
Yeah, that's a fun one for sure. Same with me on my end. All right, so 2 for 2. We're going to the third one. Is you're looking so stupid, so illegit, your movement standing still and shit.
Let's do some shit.
There you go, man. 3 for 3. Good start.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm doing a lot better than I expected.
I'd rather be a million, not a gangster, but feeling pretty trill as shit. You looking so stupid, so illegit. Your movement standing still as shit.
All right, we're going to go to the fourth one. Is hear the knock and bark of wolves. I'm stalking you, haunting you.
Winter Pulse.
Hear my bars locked on you, never really gonna stop the move. Hear the knock and the bark of wolves, I'm stalking you, haunting you.
Yeah, that was, I think, that was the very first track that introduced me to you and got us all together in this movement.
Oh, yeah.
Sure it was. That. Yeah. All right, 4 for 4 and 5 for 5. I'm pretty sure you're going to get this fifth one, but
fingers crossed.
Closing in on opponents, I'm showing them that Showzen runs the underdogs.
Oh, that was from the great mix master from UNmasked. It was that song.
Going in that hole, not golden. Closing in on opponents. I'm showing them that Showzen runs the underdogs. Got a motherfuckers that'll sucker punch another.
Yeah, and still I bump that constantly, man. And like I said, the way you did your pitch changes and your tone switches, like when you got to the whispering and how even your like ad-libs or your dubs were different sound, and man, it was creative as hell. I gotta give you mad props on that. That's one of my favorite songs like today through all the songs I listen to. So mad props to you on that.
I appreciate that so much, bro. For real. That means a lot to me, man. All the love for real, man.
Absolutely, man. Not a problem. And I'll be hitting you up soon because I want you on Global Domination too. So we will definitely keep in touch.
I want to keep me posted.
I will, man. I want to thank you for coming on, for BringTheBars. I had a blast talking to you. If you ever release an album in the future or projects, I'd love to have you back on for a Showzen special. So we'll definitely keep in touch.
Hell yeah, that'd be beautiful, bro. Man, we're gonna do this again for sure, and we're gonna keep in touch regardless.
Absolutely, man. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Take care of yourself, and yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Peace out. Shout out to everybody. Much love and appreciation. I hope y'all have a great life and day. You know what I'm saying?
This shit ain't real. Ain't none of it real. Look, everything's a lie. Yo, like, look, I was here sitting, chilling behind the train tracks, counting down the minutes. Hoodie on with some Ray-Bans, puffing to the filter. Notice a pretty dame pass, tight black, halter top with some skinny gray pants. Starts walking through the park, I'm in the dark, waiting for a chance to pop out or probably waltz or have her doing the rain dance. Either way, I'm aiming to get laid on the paved path. So I jump out, grab her purse, all her fucking change, crash to the floor along with her pair of gray pants. All alone, Rolling Stone. Hello. Hey. I finish business, on to the next block. My dick is itching up, my zipper hiding my T-Rex cock. Stop by the liquor store, on my left watch this little number, picking a bottle from the shelf top. I told her, what's good, girl, where you headed with that? She told me there was a party with plenty of cats. I let her know, let me get in on that. She said, yeah, let me get in the passenger seat. Then her head hit the dash, threw her in the back, spewed in the hands, cause she said she could catch. Moved her to the trunk, grabbed the Chevy and put in some gas. Drove to the end of the road, pushed the car off the edge, lit a cigarette, then I get ready to max. All alone, Rolling Stone. Hello. 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 After downing down a plate of tacos, I headed downtown to stay behind a late McDonald's. Call me a stalker, but all I really want, though, is to snuggle with a bitch, not breathing out her mouth hole. I duck down low, notice some vatos coming out the car with bitches that make my cock slow. Get a nice blood rush after fucking filling my nostrils with some dust. And I stay gripping the Glock, the cold twisting my thoughts, my bulge itching the top. I mold into a monster, go quick with the shot. 2 guys in the trunk, 2 girls in the back. I go back inside and get a drink and an apple pie. All alone, Rolling Stone. All alone, Rolling Stone. Hello. Hey. Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Said fucking finish sipping my Sprite. Cluster fuck, busted or nutted enough women tonight. I go get in the ride, stuff the bodies inside a waste management pipe, so it's less harder to light. Burst into flames, the worst hasn't came. Till the sperm in my veins stay Persian today, unless a version's in the way with the perky. Today's my dirty words a compliment with purd is your name. Don't get offended, all the women that are listening. I don't want no feminists giving me their criticism, bitching that I'm ignorant and immature, and really I'm just shit you really haven't heard. Look, kids sit in garages passing the herb, talking about slapping a nerd. See, that could fucking damage a nerve, and I'm just acting a turd, mixing action and verbs and patterns and how I can leave ratchets on curbs. But really, what's actually worse, me making this track or fools jacking the purse? Wait, I did that in the beginning.
Fucking stupid.
Oh.